Do you want to just belong to something or do you want to actually build it? I had a thought recently and I was thinking about in the general world about business, growth, trying new things, entrepreneurs versus employee mindset. I'm Alicia Soekawa. I'm the empowered agent here and I'm the principal broker for Five Realty in the state of Virginia. And I'm going to talk today about building and belonging. And it's interesting because as we're talking about growing and attracting agents to our beautiful brokerage, I had a thought about that because I think agents are kind of categorized in one of these other. You're building something or you're belonging to something. Are you a follower? Are you a leader? Kind of falls into that respect. So if you're questioning that and you're not sure what you are and you want to get some more kind of insight or my insight on that, this video is for you. Just the concept of do you want to build or do you want to just belong is something I thought about. And it's something that my husband was like, Michael, for some of you that know him, said, babe, that's a great topic to talk about because do you want to build something bigger? Why agents choose to go to a startup or go to something innovative or go to something that's never been done before is going to be very different from the agent that says, I'm just going to join the mom and pop brokerage, or I'm going to start my own brokerage, or I'm going to join one of the big box brokerages, like some of the bigger names that we know. You know, it's not right or wrong. I think it's just different for every person. So that's what's so interesting is sometimes it's seasons in life. So sometimes one brokerage might be for you. When I started, I joined a big box brokerage locally, and it was the perfect thing that I needed as a new agent and gave me the stability, the foundation that I needed to grow. And then I needed to spread my wings. I felt almost constricted in them and kind of lost in the cog there. Something similar to when I left big corporate America, I just kind of felt kind of lost as a number. If this is you, it's calling to you, this might be something of interest to you to think about. So as you think about, do you want to build or belong? There's a question that I think a lot of agents go and they start searching. And the word culture always comes to mind. Oh, I want culture. I want this and I want that. And culture is different for each person. And culture is not going to be the thing that really pulls you over. There's always the bottom line. If you're in sales, then it should be the bottom line. It should be about what's going to go in my pocket at the end of the day for the work that I do. Because last time I checked, we are not non-for-profits. And I will say this, non-for-profits a lot of times are about making money. So that being said, do I want to build something meaningful? Do I want to grow something? Do I have a legacy? Or am I just there to belong to make some money and let everyone else do everything for me and kind of just skip along with the group? And again, it's not right or wrong, but the industry reality is this is true. The brokerages fall into this place. Either your big box brokerages that you see that have a ton of marketing money, investment, they're already publicly traded. They're just huge, like multi country everywhere. That's great because they worked really hard to get to that point. And years ago, they were probably the small business that started out. Then you have the husband and wife brokerages, the solo brokerages, the one and dones that are only in that little city or that market you're in. Those are great too, because if that's a calling to you and you want to open one of those or be a part of those, that's excellent. However, it is very isolating, kind of like being on an island. So those are the two big extremes that we see. And it's interesting because it's very interesting of who attracts what business. I've noticed there are flat fee brokerages. There are brokerages that are revenue share. There are brokerages that are cloud. There are brokerages that are brick and mortar. There are brokerages that are more geared towards that mortgage companies built in, and so they kind of give you the money back. They're discount brokerages, they're full service brokerages. It's kind of a little bit for everybody. It's kind of like when you look for private schools or schooling, it's the same concept in brokerages. So the question I would say is that if you are looking and you are producing and you're doing something, a lot of producing agents are the ones that actually do the business. They put their head to the ground, they go, they do the deals, they're making money, they're supporting their families. They're not usually caught up in all the things at the brokerage is what I've found. Especially the brokerage I was at, a lot of the top producing agents really were never in the brokerage. They were out selling, they were out at listing appointments, showing houses, meeting with people. Office were all the support people, like your assistants and your transaction coordinators and marketing people. They were all in the office, but the actual agents that were really doing the business, I noticed, were out and about, seeing things, doing things, meeting with people, getting belly to belly, which is what this business will always require. As much as you want to go virtual, it is a personality, engagement, rubber meets the road kind of business. And it's interesting because I think most people don't really take the time to pay attention to that of our patterns because we're literally running. And that's just how this business is. It's sales. And the interesting thing I noticed is when I was making the changes, because I literally went from that extreme to extreme. I went from the big box and then I had the boutique brokerage. And I got tapped on the shoulder to open up Five Realty for Virginia. And it really made me think, like, I thought I was building a mom and pop to expand and grow. And in that process, I realized that there was so much more hand holding with new agents. It was attracting a lot of brand new agents, which is fantastic. But there's only one of me. There's only so much bandwidth. And I felt at the end of the day, it was very draining. And it wasn't a match, if that makes sense. And if that's you, this is for you, especially because I think there's a lot of leaders out there, people that produce, that enjoyed inspiring. I love coaching, I love mentoring. There were definitely a handful of agents that just blossomed in under working with me. So proud of them. You know who you are. But I just felt like it was very capped in what I could do and how I could attract people to the brokerage because we were siloed in this island. And one of the things I loved is that Five Realty is not about joining the cool club, or it's not the like, oh, I want to be trendy and I want to be with all the people, the cool people, and hang out like the popular crowd. It's about building something from the ground level. And it's the saying of this: if you knew what you knew, let's say Bitcoin for that matter, if you knew what Bitcoin was going to be today, which unfortunately my husband had the opportunity to buy it when it's $500 a share, and now it's worth God knows who much. We'd be billionaires. So we'd not be doing this video if he had bought the Bitcoin. But that's a perfect example is, do you have the insight, the wherewithal to start something ground level, knowing what the trajectory could be potentially? That is what Five Realty is. And so that's who this is going to attract, people that are excited about startups, excited about growing something. We are intentionally growing this area and not just bringing people on to bring people on, bringing people on that want to do business, that have their own brand, that trying to grow, that want to lock arms and collaborate with people that want to grow. But it's not about, hanging out and doing all of these things. It's about really doing the work and pushing and growing. And we're really excited because I opened up Virginia, North Carolina just opened up and was announced, and DC, Maryland is coming. So we will have our touching borders done, and Tennessee's already been open. That's very exciting. And we're over 20 states open and hopefully growing. And being a founder is super exciting to have direct access to the CEO, Nazar, and it makes a big difference. And so who this is for is, it's not for agents that want to hide behind a logo, because that's what's so great about Five Realty is that it really stands next to the collaborative, because I kept the collaborative as the team under, or like the name recognition for my clients. Five is about, you're made up of the people you surround yourself around. It is for producing agents. This is for you. If you produce, you already lead kind of, and you lead formally or informally, whether you have a production assistant, a transaction coordinator, you're just out there doing your business, husband, wife teams. And it's kind of more like the silent agents is what I call them. You're out there and you're doing your work, but you don't need all the accolades and the awards and all that. Agents who care about culture, collaboration, and contribution. If you're an agent that wants to hold mine and not share, it's probably not for you. And if you enjoy being around really cool builders and other broker owners that have taken the leap to join, because it's more fun to work with other people and not alone. People that want a voice. That's what's really cool, is that in this situation that I'm in now, I've been able to express, hey, I don't like this policy. Can we change it? And they talk about it and changes have been made. We have two different systems now. There's a revenue share system. And if you don't want to do revenue share, it's a lower cap, which is excellent for people that just don't want to do it. Good for you. You don't want stock and revenue share, you get a very small cap and you can move on and do the things that you want to do. If you change your mind in a couple of years, guess what? You can change. And that's a great option, is that it's not static, it's not constraining, it's constricting. Leaders that want to grow without having to own their own brokerage. And it's kind of being part of the brokerage and growing it together versus being by yourself, owning it all, dealing with it all. And it's leadership not just reserved for the top of the org chart. And I think it's what you see a lot when you're looking at bigger brokerages that are great for that place. But if you have these huge high leaders and VPs and presidents, and which they need that at the size of an organization, it's really hard at the ground level to be connected and have opportunity to grow and do different things. Right now the opportunity is there, and that's why I'm doing this video, because if you join at this stage, it's not, stepping into something that's finished. You are going to be an integral part of growing something, about building something. You help shape the culture of what this company is going to be, the standards of what they're going to be, the community of what we're building, and the leadership in your region, in your state, in your city, which is super exciting. And you're not lost in corporate layers and all these things like that. I mean, I know our company, when I first started, I don't want to mention names, I just don't want to get into that, but they got bought out, and it just changed almost overnight. And like all these rules and things happened and everyone got moved into different regional offices and the local offices closed. And it was really disappointing because I thought there was more of a connection. And that's an example of it. That's something that bothers you and you want to be a part of something more ground level and you be responsible and having a direct line to all the leadership and founders now is the time for you. And it's exciting, and I think it's one of those things, if you're wanting to be a part of something that's growing and innovative, to feed that part of your soul, but also to be a part of something and lock arms, it's super cool. And of course, it's easy to go to the known entity, but I always say challenge people to say, what if? What if? Be curious to see what could potentially happen and what you could grow if you came into something that launched you into something phenomenal, what life would be like. What if, right? And so that may be what if you DM me or shoot me a little message here. I'd love to connect. And if we're not open in a state that you're in and you'd like to open it up, love to have that conversation with you too, because we are looking for other state founders. You can look at our map and check that out. So I'll ask you a question. Do you want to belong somewhere or do you want to build something that matters? Ask yourself that question, because if you want to belong, there's no problem with that. I join things all the time. I have no interest in building and growing certain parts of my life, but this is something that I'm very passionate about and excited to grow. So if you're a producing agent that feels a pull to connect, to lead, to grow something, but you're tired kind of spinning your wheels where you are right now, I'd love to have a conversation. Like I said, it's not a pitch, it's just a conversation about who you are, what you want to do in this business, how you want to grow. Let's talk. And if you want, I can be there for you to listen, or you can check out my videos and grow more, or we can have some ideas for content, all the things. So until then, stay empowered. Empowered Agent with Alicia Soekawa.